Have you ever heard of Juneteenth? Obviously you have, but did you know enslaved Africans had already been emancipated? They just didn't know it. Yep, you heard it right. The June 19 announcement came more than 2.5 years after Abraham Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation on January 1st, 1863. So technically, from the Union's perspective, the 250,000 enslaved people in Texas were already free, but none of them were aware of it, and no one was in a rush to inform them. Hello viewers, welcome to the Matter of Facts channel, where you get to learn about some amazing and interesting facts. In today's video, I'm going to share with you everything about Juneteenth and why it is important. Juneteenth is celebrated on June 19th. It is a holiday commemorating the freedom of the enslaved Africans in the United States. The name Juneteenth is a combination of the words June and 19th. The day is also called Emancipation Day and Freedom Day. And there are a number of different ways that people celebrate the day, including parades, marches, and barbecues. Many people get together for the ceremonies that include public service awards, prayers, and a raising of the Juneteenth flag. Government and educational facilities will often have programs or information regarding the history of the holiday and the Emancipation Proclamation. It is also a time for African Americans to celebrate their heritage. As the tradition of Juneteenth spreads across the United States, different localities put different spins on the celebrations. In the southern states, the holiday is traditionally celebrated with oral histories and readings. Occasionally, people will have red soda or strawberry soda and barbecues. Some states even serve up Marcus Garvey's salad with red, green, and black beans in honor of the black nationalists. Rodeos have also become part of the tradition in the Southwest, while contests, concerts, and parades are a common theme across the entire country. If we talk about the history of Juneteenth, it dates back to September the 22nd, 1862, the day the Emancipation Proclamation was issued by Abraham Lincoln. It went into effect on January the 1st, 1863. However, enslaved Africans were not set free in the Confederacy until the Union Army was able to come in and take over. On June 18, 1865, the Union Army arrived in Galveston, Texas. The next day, June 19th, General Gordon Granger announced that the enslaved Africans in Texas were freed by the order of the President of the United States. The former enslaved Africans in Galveston celebrated the day they were set free. The first Juneteenth celebration took place the very next year. Now, the annual celebration began to spread throughout Texas and surrounding states. However, it became less popular in the early 1900s. It became popular once again in the 1950s and the 1960s. Then in the 1980s, it became an official state holiday in Texas. There is currently a movement to get the day recognized on a national level. The day is celebrated in the United States, mostly by African Americans. Now, it is most celebrated in the state of Texas. Many other states recognize the day as either an official holiday or observance. Now that we have a brief history of Juneteenth, let's continue with some fun facts about the holiday. Number 8, the Miss Juneteenth Pageant. Juneteenth is the oldest known holiday that commemorates the end of slavery in the United States. Some cities and groups also organize Miss Juneteenth contests on this day. The Miss Juneteenth Pageant, a real event in Fort Worth and other cities, isn't your average beauty contest, but one that awards scholarships to winners who reflect the local black community's value of service and talent. Number 7, celebrations and traditions. The first Juneteenth celebrations took place on June 19, 1866, making it the oldest known celebration signifying the end of slavery. The 155-year-old holiday began with traditions of food, singing, dancing, and spiritual readings. Some of the earliest celebrations include fireworks that involve filling trees with gunpowder and blowing them up. Now, it's still popular to sing, dance, and cheer as well as hosting parades. Communities would read the Emancipation Proclamation as a symbol of hope. Number 6, the scatter. Most free people weren't terribly interested in staying with the people who had enslaved them, even if pay was involved. In fact, some people were leaving before Granger had finished making the announcement. What followed became known as the scatter, when droves of former enslaved people left the state to find family members or more welcoming accommodations in the northern regions. Number 5, Emancipation Park sold for $800. When freed people tried to celebrate the first anniversary of their announcement a year later, they were faced with a problem. Segregation laws were expanding rapidly, and there were no public places or parks they were permitted to use. So, in the 1870s, former enslaved people pooled together $800 and purchased 10 acres of land, which they deemed Emancipation Park. It was the only public park and swimming pool in the Houston area that was open to African Americans until the 1950s. Number 4. Martin Luther King's Poor People's March. Juneteenth celebrations waned for several decades, which wasn't because people no longer wanted to celebrate freedom, but it was difficult to celebrate freedom when your life was defined by oppression on all sides. Celebrations waned during the era of Jim Crow laws until the Civil Rights Movement of the 1960s, when the Poor People's March planned by Martin Luther King Jr. was purposely scheduled to coincide with the date. The march brought Juneteenth back to the forefront, and when march participants took the celebrations back to their home states, the holiday was reborn. Number 3. 3 states do not recognize Juneteenth. One of the most interesting facts is Texas deemed the holiday worthy of statewide recognition in 1980, becoming the first state to do so. Now, it is celebrated across the country and the world as a day to honor Black culture and achievements, as well as the end of slavery. The spread of Juneteenth was due to the migration of African Americans from Texas who moved westward. And after all these years, Juneteenth is not yet a federal holiday. Today, it's recognized in 47 states in the District of Columbia, according to the National Juneteenth Observance Foundation. Hawaii, North Dakota, and South Dakota are the only states without official recognition. Number 2. In 2020, New York takes on Juneteenth. New York governor signed an executive order recognizing Juneteenth as a paid holiday for state employees.
I'm going to sign an executive order today, hence all my pens, recognizing Juneteenth as a holiday for state employees, and I'm going to propose legislation next year to make it an official state holiday.
And Virginia's governor proposed making it a state holiday as well. Still, more workers than perhaps ever in American history will have the day of Juneteenth off. Companies like Nike, the NFL, and Twitter observe Juneteenth as a paid company holiday. And number 1, who designed the Juneteenth flag and what does it mean? Juneteenth flag is the brainchild of activist Ben Haith, founder of the National Juneteenth Celebration Foundation. Haith created the flag in 1997 with the help of collaborators, and Boston-based illustrator Lisa Jean Graff brought their vision to life. The colors red, white, and blue echo the American flag to symbolize that the enslaved Africans and their descendants were Americans. The bursting new star in the middle on the horizon of the red and blue fields represent a new freedom and a new people. It also pays homage to Texas. And finally, each year a Juneteenth flag raising ceremony is held in Galveston. Freedom is something people die for, and here we are celebrating freedom in better times. We would love to read your comments about Juneteenth Day. Please share if you live in a city or town that celebrates Juneteenth. If you find this video helpful, give us a thumbs up, and don't forget to share the video with your friends and family. Also, subscribe to our channel for more interesting facts on cultural content. See you in the next video. Till then, stay well.